Hey there, it's Kimberly Lucht, and I'm a business coach and energy healer for entrepreneurs who want to make more money and magic doing what they love. And so if that sounds like you, you're in the right place. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to embody dolce vita energy. And so this is very inspired by Italy and my experiences in Italy and this kind of embodiment of il dolce far niente, which is basically the sweetness of doing nothing. The way that my partner describes this is that it's this ability to relax and take a break and not work in whatever way that looks like for you. And so you can choose whatever il dolce far niente means to you, but essentially it's like where you find the sweetness of life, where you find that ability to slow down, take a break, and do nothing, literally do nothing. Far niente is do nothing. Il dolce is the sweetness. And so I want you to get creative here on what this could look and feel like for you. Like, let's say, for example, you normally would go to Netflix or maybe scrolling on your phone when you're quote unquote doing nothing. But what could you do that's maybe outside of the box a little bit that still feels really relaxing to you and maybe even delicious to you? I'm going to list out a few examples of what you could maybe integrate into your life, and then I'm going to guide you through a few questions of maybe how you could decide for yourself what that could look like. So here are some examples of il dolce far niente. You can look up at the sky and watch the clouds pass and be like, oh my God, look, that one looks like a unicorn, or it looks like a lemon, or it looks like Italy, right? The clouds passing by is just such a beautiful way to pass time. And it's also really relaxing to just remember, like, wow, look at this beautiful sky that we have always with us. Like every single day, this sky is here, whether it has clouds or not. It's like, oh my gosh, it's here. But going outside and watching the clouds pass, what a beautiful way to embody il dolce far niente. Another way to embody this sweetness of doing nothing is to maybe even touch the grass with your hands and just see what comes through. See what comes through those blades of grass. If you just like touch your hands there for maybe a few minutes and just notice how the soil feels, notice how the grass feels, just noticing. How does that feel on your hands? The reason I love this one is because it's so touch oriented and very sensory. And so yeah, just noticing, how does the grass feel underneath your hands? Maybe staying there for a few minutes or maybe even a half hour. Another activity that embodies il dolce far niente is lighting a candle and staring at the flame. And so when you take a look at the flame and like just keep your focus there, it's not only such a warming activity and you're just like, wow, but you see this flame dancing and flickering before you and you're like, wow, like it's so beautiful. And it's something that if you aren't sinking into those moments on a day-to-day basis, then we forget how beautiful and how miraculous fire is. And then one of my all-time favorite activities to embody il dolce far niente is to take a bath. And wow, like sometimes I stay in there for hours and just stare at the ceiling and take a deep breath and remember like, wow, we came from water and we were in the womb in water. And just coming back to that, returning to the water. I love to do that as often as possible. And so you'll notice with the 4 suggestions that I just laid out for you, there's an element in each one. So with the clouds passing, we have the sky and the air. With the grass, we have the earth element, right? Touching the grass and touching the soil, that's earth. With the candle, we have the fire element. And with the bath, we have the water element. And all 4 of those are just really great examples of how we can sink into the moment without having to do everything and do anything. Notice that those 4 activities involve the 4 elements, but they don't involve devices. And so let's say, the doing nothing maybe for you has looked like the, podcasting or messaging your friends back or whatever it is. But maybe there's a way to be device free for your dolce far niente activities. And so this is where I'm going to ask you a question or two about what that could look like for you. If you didn't have a device today, if you didn't have access to technology, how would you find a way to relax? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Maybe it's taking a nap. That's also like a perfect example of an activity that embodies il dolce far niente, the sweetness of doing nothing. What would you do? What's something that comes to mind first? And then let's say you have all the time in the world and that you don't need to work at all, like you just have no reason to work. What's one thing that you would really want to do with your time? And so those two questions are what I'll leave you with so that you can get creative and decide for yourself what il dolce far niente could look like for you. Those two questions again are, what would you do if you had no access to devices or technology? And what would you do if you did have all the time in the world? You didn't need to work, you didn't need to do anything necessarily day to day. What are some of the first things that come to mind when you think of what you would do to fill your time, to relax and be in that blissful state? Maybe there's a way to integrate those things in your life today. And so I really hope that this helps. And if you want more Dolce Vita vibes in your life and in your business, you'll love my group coaching program. It's a space where spiritual entrepreneurs can make more money and feel like honey. And if that sounds like something that you want more of, then I invite you to click the link down below to get all the details and sign up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao for now. Bye.